Today our featurette is called Operation Cone of Power, which if you read the newsletter that we sent out this week, you read a blurb on this. It happened in 1940 during World War II after the Germans had defeated France. And the Germans were bombing Britain from the air, but they had not yet invaded the land. So on August the 1st, which was Lammas Eve is one of the main witches' Sabbats, a group of occultists, people who practice the occult, gathered near the town of Highcliffe-by-the-Sea on England's southern coast. There were about 17 people, including witches, Rosicrucians, members of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, and co-masons. I know what most of those are. They gathered near an ancient gallows tree, a hanging tree, that had been named the Naked Man. And they aimed a shuttered lantern. You can think of it kind of like a flashlight. They aimed it toward Berlin. They were sky-clad, clad only with the sky, which means they were naked. And they danced in circles, chanting incantations. This ritual, known as raising the cone of power, is intended to gather and concentrate cosmic energy, which could then be focused onto a particular target. And they chanted, "You cannot cross the sea, you cannot cross the sea, not able to come, not able to come." They aimed it at Hitler's brain. And the Germans, though they had already staged for the invasion, never came. Going back in history to 1805, the witches repelled an invasion by Napoleon Bonaparte. And in May of 1588, as the Spanish Armada approached Britain, the Vice Admiral of the English fleet, you probably have heard this name, Sir Francis Drake, joined a group of sea witches, and they were on a headland called Devil's Point near Plymouth, and they came together to perform a ritual intended to scatter the Spanish ships. And they chanted this incantation, go on, not able to land, not able to land." And the Spanish Armada continued north around Scotland. I'm getting goosebumps. When they got to Scotland, they were repelled by a Scottish witch whose name was Dotag, and I have no idea how you really pronounce that. And not only did she repel them, she sank one of the ships. When asked why the Spanish Armada never made land, the most common reason given is because of strong north winds. Strong north winds. I want to address a couple of aspects of these events from witch history. First, the cone of power. In many spiritual traditions, cones, spirals, circles are created to focus and direct energy. Witches cast a circle of protection with a wand at the beginning of their ceremonies, and they dance in circles. Native Americans build medicine wheels, which are beautiful mandalas, circles on the ground, and they have rules about what direction you can walk around them. When you're building them, you walk clockwise because that is gathering the energy into a cone. And at the end of the evening, when you're dismantling them, you walk counterclockwise to unspiral the energy. It's said that gypsy dancers who wore those full skirts and spun were actually creating vortexes of energy, which would like hypnotize the men that came to watch them dance and give them a lot of money. And in the last 30 or so years, it's become very popular for churches to have labyrinths, which are big circles with it's a maze kind of, you walk on the ground. And one of the newest features at Unity Village is a huge labyrinth that they have built what used to be in a parking lot outside the library. Gathering for the purpose of focusing and directing energy has been common among many groups for centuries. Now, the second aspect of the witches' rituals I'd like to expand on is their chanting. Not able to come, not able to land, and other phrases, chanting them repeatedly. This is much the same as using affirmations and denials, which are a mainstay in Unity's teachings. In the famous prosperity course, 4T is the name of this course, the first thing you are told to do is to recite, I am prosperous, 100 times a day, every day. I am prosperous, I am prosperous. Now I want to share a story about May Rowland. May Rowland served as the director of Silent Unity for 55 years. She retired in 1971. And one of the legends in Unity history is that she repelled a tornado that was headed for Unity Village. And I've told this story from the pulpit. I'd heard several different versions of it over the years from different people, and I was never really sure of the details, but the version I liked had May Rowland standing on a balcony outside the education building and raising her arms when the tornado was headed toward the village and saying, in the name of God, I order you to turn away. Well, yesterday, I found a copy, an online copy of May Rowland's book. She wrote a book called Dare to Believe. And therein, she described this incident in her own words. She was at home, and she saw the tornado headed toward the village and toward her house, and she stood at a window and said, dissolve in the name of Jesus Christ. And the tornado turned away and dissipated. So I ask you, what is the difference between a group of occultists chanting, you cannot cross the sea, not able to come, and May Rowland commanding a tornado to dissolve? Metaphysicians throughout the ages have understood the creative power of mind, of focused intent and directing energy. We wrap this understanding in different garbs, depending on the time and place, but the practice is the same. So we're going to close with a quote from Albert Einstein, attributed to Albert Einstein. More and more, I just don't believe all these quotes really came from him, but this one's a really good one. So he wrote, when something vibrates, the electrons of the entire universe resonate with it. Everything is connected. The greatest tragedy of human existence is the illusion of separateness. We are one. We are one with the trees and the stars. We are one with people of all beliefs and all traditions. And we are one with God. And thus ends the feature.